Two women killed today in metro Atlanta parks. Police in both cases are still searching for the killers. The first happening in Midtown's Piedmont Park. And tonight, Atlanta police are offering a $10,000 reward to catch the person who killed Katie Janice and her dog as they walked in the park. This is a picture of the pair.
Wow. It's very interesting how the woke culture, when it takes over a city, it destroys it. Now look at those crosswalk. Look at the crosswalk. It's painted in the colors of the rainbow. Every city you see that in is uber violent. And it's not safe to walk the streets. If you go to a city and you see this, that means you're in a dangerous city. If you go to a city and you don't see that, that means you're in a safe city. Wow.
Person who killed Katie Janice and her dog as they walked in the park. This is a picture of the pair. Tracy A. McPeer has the latest.
Flowers mark the Charles Allen entrance at Piedmont Park, just hours after Katie Janice and her dog were found stabbed to death just inside the gate.
It's a gruesome scene.
Officers say a camera near 10th and Piedmont Avenue caught some of Janice's last known moments as she and her dog walked across the Rainbow Crosswalk there. Soon after, police say someone called 911 around 1 a.m. after finding Janice's body in Piedmont Park. Officers spent hours gathering evidence inside the park and searching the lake. People who live nearby say they're simply stunned by the crime.
What would be the, motive behind doing something like this?
Jennifer Knott lives 2 blocks away from where it happened and says she walks her dog in that same spot every day.
Standard, every day. Usually sometimes twice a day. So, yeah, it just really kind of shook me and hit home.
All right. So this woman here, with a little hat on, typical liberal Southern belle, she's gotta be like having nightmares. This has got to be on her mind all the time. Because if the death of a junkie, career criminal, 2,000 miles away could cause her to call for her police department to be disbanded or defunded, this woman being stabbed and the dog being stabbed to death in a park where she walks her dog 2 to 3 times a day. I mean, like, what now? Like, what does she call for now? You call for your police department to be disbanded and defunded. You were okay with people burning down your city. You said it was the worst thing you ever saw. Well, this level of proximity is infinitely more closer to home than that was in the Floyd situation. So, I mean, what do you call for the perpetrators of this? Because the perpetrators of what happened to Floyd, they're all terrible people. Wrap them in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Take their jobs. We don't need them. What about the element that did this to this woman in the park where you walk your dog 2 to 3 times a day? Now, I know she's not going to tell us But I just wanted you guys to think what may be on her mind. In the deep recesses of her mind, because she can't say it. But just think about that. If she would allow her city to be burned, stand idly by, allow her city to be burned to the ground while Floyd, and the protection she pays for with her taxes to be completely marginalized and neutered because they were the perpetrators of that event. What does she want to happen to the perpetrators of this incident?
Jennifer Knott lives 2 blocks away from where it happened and says she walks her dog in that same spot every day.
Standard every day, usually sometimes twice a day. So yeah, it just really kind of shook me and hit home.
And while she didn't know Katie Janess personally, she says her heart is going out to her family and friends.
I send out prayers for her family and friends and the community. It's just it's a palpable loss.
Right now, there is a $10,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. If you have information, you're asked to reach out to Crime Stoppers or Atlanta Police.
And the second woman found dead at Yellow River Park this morning. Gwinnett County Police say they discovered her shot to death under a tree after they received what they're calling an unknown medical call. That was around 6:30. Police are asking for help to identify her, saying she has 2 distinct tattoos.
She has a heart cross tattoo with the date of 18/16/07 on the right side of her neck. It appears to be a red pinkish color. She also has a Faith Makes All Possible tattoo on the left side of her neck.
Police say there are no known suspects or a motive at this time.
Right now, Atlanta police working around the clock to find the person responsible for stabbing a woman and her dog to death in Piedmont Park. The department now offering a reward for the death of Katie Janess. This morning, her loved ones are sharing their memories as they hope to find her killer. Chanu Hurd joining us live from Piedmont Park this morning with the very latest developments. We brought you this story yesterday morning as breaking news. Information was slim. We didn't know a lot. As the day went on, Chanu, the story just became more devastating and heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's right, Aisha. Absolutely just heartbreaking for Katie Janess's loved ones. And there are still so many questions surrounding this case. But while they wait for answers, her loved ones are remembering her out here where she was killed. There they have flowers remembering her, as well as a box of dog biscuits for her dog, who was also stabbed and killed in this case here. Now, friends and loved ones of Janess are remembering her as someone who was kind, down to earth, and a beautiful spirit. A group of her friends say Katie worked as a part-time bartender at Campagnolo in Midtown. Katie's friend, Chip Powell, the artist director at the Whole World Improv Theater, has worked with her for 8 years. He says he doesn't know anyone who would want to hurt her.
Okay, that's very interesting. 2 things. She works as a part-time bartender, and she allegedly has privilege in this country. Secondly, the guy who they interviewed about her, the close friend, said he doesn't know anyone who would want to hurt her. Well, that's kind of like how it works when you defund the police. And when you live in a lawless, violent, dangerous place. The person that kills you is someone you just met, or someone you didn't even meet. It may be a stray bullet. This is just random, probably a robbery, maybe a lunatic, a crazy person, a homeless person. Obviously someone very, very strong, because I've been around dogs a lot the last 10 years because my wife, her mom had a dog. Her brother has 2 dogs. A dog, a 60 to 80 pound dog Shaq can't do nothing with a 60 to 80 pound dog. Okay? And it don't have to be a pit bull or a Rottweiler or an Akita or a German Shepherd. It could be a mutt. The person she ran across stabbed that. That's hard work. Okay? Because the dog's initially going to bite your wrist if something's in your hand. And then you're going to be fighting with the dog and you're not going to be able to get them off because the way their teeth. How this guy did this, I'm just like, yo, I'm not even going to lie. Like, hats off. Like, I got bit by a dog a few years ago, a husky. Maybe it was about 11 years ago. And that dog bit me on my wrist and my ankle so fast, and it was just like, while its owner was holding it by the leash. I mean, good. Got me good, too. And it was just like, wow. Imagine having to struggle with this dog without the owner right there. I wouldn't have had a chance in hell. I wouldn't have had a chance. So for this guy to stab a woman to death and a dog to death, and like, there's no fingers left on the scene. There's like, I guess no DNA from him, I guess. I don't know. That's like, she ran into a straight lunatic, a straight, drugs have to be involved. Somebody high off of PCP or something. Wow.
APD says Katie and her dog were stabbed to death in Piedmont Park early Wednesday morning in what investigators are calling a gruesome crime.
It's immediate shock and panic because, it's just something that is too close to home to wrap your mind around. I live on the park. I work with Katie. Katie and I hang out at a lot of places around the park. And so you feel that that's your safety zone and where you can be safe.
And Katie's girlfriend tells 11 Alive when Katie did not come home Wednesday morning, she tracked Katie's phone and found her. Now, right now, there is a $10,000 reward out there to help find who her killer is.
All right, Chanu, we will be thinking of that family and following this investigation. Thank you.
The stabbing death of a woman and her dog is hard for many to believe, especially since it happened at Piedmont Park. Those who loved Katie Janis are sharing their memories as police now search for her killer. Natisha Lance is at Piedmont Park, where a memorial has formed.
Well, a memorial in front of Piedmont Park where this killing happened has been growing throughout the day. People dropping off flowers and even dog treats. And friends of the victim tell me that they plan to keep her name out in the public and alive as long as they need to until her killer is found.
Katie was the most down-to-earth, beautiful spirit that you would ever meet.
A group who knew Katie Janis gathered around the bar inside Campagnolo. It's where she worked as a part-time bartender. None of them wanted to go on camera, but told us she was kind, intelligent, and an artist. Chip Powell worked with Katie for 8 years at the Whole World Improv Theater. She was the bar manager.
Out of all the people in the world that you would never expect something like this to happen to, Katie was the one. It's unbelievable.
40-year-old Janis was found stabbed to death with her dog in Piedmont Park early Wednesday morning. Her girlfriend said she had come by her restaurant, Henry's, to say hi while walking their dog, Bowie. APD says a camera near 10th and Piedmont captured her last moments as they walked across the Rainbow Crosswalk. It was the opposite direction of her home. When she didn't come home, her girlfriend got worried and found her through the Find My iPhone app.
To have her with her dog out at that time of night, I think she probably felt protected.
Oh.
That's a great point. You often see in gentrified cities or gentrified neighborhoods, white people walking their dogs at night, taking them out to, take a whiz or poop or whatever. Because when you have a dog, that's what you do. You got to take the dog out. The dog can't do it inside. And when you live in an apartment, these big apartment buildings that they have in these inner cities, these new condos and $2,200 a month, 1-bedroom apartment buildings, these white libs have to take their dogs out to pee all hours of the night. And I often said this. I've never really seen a white person out after 10 o'clock in my neighborhood without a dog. I'm talking about in the neighborhoods. Okay? So yes, you will see white people out downtown where the bistros and the cafes and the restaurants and the clubs and the bars are. But in the residential areas on the back blocks, the less well-lit areas, the less foot trafficked areas, you really won't see one without a dog.
To have her with her dog out at that time of night, I think she probably felt protected.
Over text, Katie's girlfriend Emma Clark told us she is just trying to get through the day. She had planned to spend the rest of her life with Katie, someone who was always teaching her new things and was the best dog mom, which makes her death with her dog that much more devastating, not knowing if in those final moments she was protecting him or him her.
Can someone tell me what kind of dog this is? Because this dog looked like it has pit bull in it. I'm not sure. I'm not a dog, expert. But this dog looks like it has some pit bull in it. If anybody can tell me what kind of dog this is in the comment section, I really appreciate that. Because, man, how do you stab a dog? How do you get a good thrust? How do you get... you can't even stab a sleeping dog to death. Literally, man. Y'all know that. You can't even stab a sleeping dog to death. Once you get that first one, it's on. How do you stab to death a dog who's in protection, walking at night in a park with his owner, sees another figure, and of course goes into straight protection mode or straight guard mode, bracing for whatever? How do you stab that dog? Wow. But yeah, get in the comment section, tell me what kind of dog this is.